This strange thing happened in a small village where I lived. In the middle of my village, there was a well that was used by the whole village. The water was very close to the well's mouth, so it was very convenient for people to get water. In the past, this well was used by the whole village to get drinking water, but later it seemed that someone drowned, so even though the body was recovered, the villagers never dared to drink the well water again. However, because the well's water was very clear and still as sweet as before, most people in the village used well water to wash vegetables and wash clothes. This well could be considered the most vibrant place in the village. It was also an ideal place for our children to play. Back then, when we played water guns in the groups after school, the water gun was made by ourselves using bamboo tubes and wooden sticks. Water was continuously pumped into the gun from the well. Every time I played water gun with my friends, when I came home, my mother scolded me. My mother didn't like me playing near that well. And that day, because I was so happy with my friends, I played games all afternoon. My whole body was drenched, so I could only bow my head to apologize for my mother with an attitude of remorse. Although I admitted my mistake on the surface, I didn't mind it at all because we had a lot of fun playing there together. At that time, my family lived with my grandmother, who spoiled me very much. Every time my mother scolded me, my grandmother was always there to protect me. I used to come home late many times, but that day my grandmother was really worried when she heard me going to the well to play. She started pulling me down next to her. Then she told me a strange story that happened at that well. My grandmother told me that in recent years, people often saw a female ghost at the well. It was said that the female ghost was looking for a replacement. It all started about 10 years ago when a woman in the village took a son down to the well to wash clothes. That child was about my age, but he hadn't been to school yet, so he followed his mother to the well every day. That day the woman was doing laundry at the well and the child was playing with a ball near the well, watching the child play happily. Then, when the woman soaked all the clothes, she discovered that she forgot to bring washing powder when she left the house. Because her house was close, the woman let her son play at the well and then ran home to get washing powder. But then, unexpectedly, a sad thing happened. When the woman returned to find her son no longer playing at the well, the boy quickly disappeared without a trace. The mother panicked, worried, and ran to find her child in vain. Although she looked for him everywhere, she couldn't find her son anywhere. At this moment, she suddenly felt a strange feeling coming from the well as if something urged her on. The mother's hunch told her that something bad happened at the well. The woman looked back over the top of the well and suddenly saw a ball floating in the water. That was the ball her son was playing with just now. A bad feeling suddenly appeared in the woman's heart. She seemed to have a bad premonition about her son. She quickly ran to the mouth of the well. When the woman was in front of the well, she looked down and found her son lying at the bottom of the well. The woman saw her son below. She did not have time to think and jumped down immediately. But by then her son had long drowned and the woman could not swim. Not only was she unable to pick up her son's body, but the woman was also helpless in the well. So the woman and the child both sank into the well. When their bodies were found, it was already the next day. From then on, no one dared to drink the well water. Some people even heard the cry of a woman at the mouth of the well at night because their mother and son died unjustly. After my grandma finished telling this story, I cried at that time. I didn't know why I burst into tears. Maybe I thought that woman and her son were pitiful. My grandmother kindly told me that if something happened to me, everyone would be sad and heartbroken like that woman. That was why my mother told me not to go out there anymore. After hearing the story about the well, I was scared and I didn't go there for quite a while. Until one day, my friends invited each other to play a water gun game. Both of my friends chased each other and played happily, and I felt a little confused. So a guy jumped in and shot water at me, which pissed me off. So I decided to get a water gun and go to the well to pump the water in and start fighting with them. But when I was pumping water, I suddenly noticed a colorful ball floating on the well's surface. That ball was pretty. It caught my attention. The ball was very attractive when gliding back and forth on the well's surface. I didn't know what I was thinking at that moment, and I tried to reach out for the ball. The ball seemed to prevent me from catching it intentionally. It moved away from me a little and it just drifted away. So I leaned forward forcefully. Suddenly I slipped and my body lost its balance. I fell into the well suddenly. It all happened so fast. I fell into the water before I could call for help. The deeper I sank, the narrower the well. I seemed to lose consciousness. After a while of wobbling, I finally turned around. But at that time I couldn't swim and choked on some water. I just felt my body getting heavier and heavier. I was afraid to struggle, but instead of rising, I was sinking more and more. Slowly my eyes began to darken. My mind went blank. At this crucial moment, I suddenly felt a force lifting me from under my feet. At that time I was still awake. I opened my eyes wide and saw that it was a woman coming up from the well. She hugged my legs and kept pushing me up. Immediately after my whole body emerged from the water, I tried to inhale for air. I panted, clutching the side of the well and slowly climbing up. When I looked back into the well, I saw no woman at all, except that below the well was deep water. I didn't know where my friend and the others went. I finally got out of the well and ran home in a soaking wet body. When I got home, I didn't dare say that I fell into the well. My mother thought I was playing with water guns again, so she scolded me even more harshly. But in my heart, I was still very scared. I couldn't hide my thoughts. That night before I went to bed, I told my grandmother the whole story. I told the story clearly that today I accidentally fell into the well. When I was about to drown, a woman at the bottom of the well saved me. Grandma said back then the woman felt guilty for not being able to save her child. And today, she got to wish. She didn't want any more parents to lose their children because they would suffer as much as she did. I couldn't hold back my tears. That poor woman who saved me today made me feel less fear and feel more sorry for her. I had a strange dream that night. I dreamt that the woman and her child were playing happily. It was good that now they could be together and be so happy. Motherhood was truly sacred.